Yeah, guys, welcome back. Okay, so um, I saw your this the file you sent out to me, and I saw your attempts, and uh, I think all of you have done good, except for two, three students. I'll not name them, but the point is, the people, students who have done it good, and students who are still finding a little problem. I like to go and discuss this one by one. Okay, so before we go and start today's lecture, let us first of all cover these three questions. Okay, and then perhaps the students who have done this already, they can also identify these steps, if that is what is mapping with my steps or not. Okay, so the first question was how to find the total score of Ajay. Well, total score of Ajay using the array can come when you go and find out where in this entire table where we have Ajay. So we can go and create an array which gives us the a true and the false. So I simply go and select this, and I say in the double quotes, make sure you write the double quotes, it is a text, and I go and close this, control shift enter. Now we know the output of this. This is the output, and I go and press escape. So I go and paste this. Why go and paste these outputs? So that when you go and practice on it, you should be knowing it, that this array is for what. Okay, so I'm basically trying to help you out here, giving you more clarity on this. So this is the first step when I converted this. Okay, this is the step number one where we got the Ajay converted as true and false. Now the only thing is that since you have these numbers, you simply go and multiply this array. Okay, so in the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to multiply this array with my this array. Okay, and I can go and again use the close and the open parenthesis and simply control shift enter. Before I do control shift enter, let me select this array and let me go and press F9, and I want to show you, so you can see this is the array. So I copy this and I simply go and press escape, and I again go and write this. I just want to paste this output so that you can do this step by step. So finally, once we are done, this is the array, if you remember, right? So this is the array, this one, the B2 to B11, and this is the A2 to A11. So these arrays we are going to multiply together, and this is what we are getting, which I'm going to show you right away. I go and press F9. This is the array. Okay, so finally 2 is multiplied with 10, false is multiplied with 20, and this false is multiplied with this 30, and wherever we have false, the output is 0, and the rest of the values are going to come. And then what you need to do is you simply need to go and say that I want to total that. So open bracket and close bracket, control shift enter, and finally you have the answer. So this is your answer number one. Okay, this was very simple. Find out the maximum score of Andy. Now this is the same thing. What we are going to do is I'm going to quickly go and copy this entire formula from here, because what I want to do is I want to first of all find out the Andy, okay, in this array, and whatever the output will come, because we are saying that in this array find out equals to Andy, so we will have true false coming, and then we are going to multiply that with the B2 to B11, which is this one. Okay, so finally the B2 to B11 is going to be multiplied with this array, and wherever we have Andy, we will have the result. So if I go and show you using the F9, this is what you see, 0, 30, 77. So this time I'm just going to write the output, okay, because these are the same steps we are doing, but the only difference is since we have to find out the maximum score, so you simply go and say max and start the bracket, and that is how the formula is going to look like. Go and press Ctrl Shift Enter, guys, and we have the maximum score. So simple. Now let's come to the third part. Now only one of you was able to do this, so I'm going to tell you actually that what is the logic here. Well, you see, you have to find out the total score of Ajay where the year is greater than 2001. Very simple thing. First of all, how you going to find out the Ajay? Obviously, you go and compare this entire table with Ajay. Okay, so the step one for us is we simply go and select this, and we say that we want to find out Ajay, and I go and close this. Okay, this is the first step. I press Ctrl Shift Enter. So here you have the array, which is this one. The true false is going to come. So this is your basically the step number one. Okay, I go and write it here. This is your step number one. Okay, in the step number one, what we are doing is we are calculating that in this array where we have Ajay. So finally I've got I got my these values. Okay, let me double click on this. Let me hide this ribbon to have more space. Okay, so this is a step number one. Now in the step number two, obviously you have to multiply Ajay with the score, isn't it? So what you can do is, what I do is, instead of writing the formula, creating a second array in this cell, what I do, I first of all copy this and I go and write this once again here. And now here I'm going to multiply this with what? I'm going to multiply this with this B22 B11. Okay, now when you go and multiply this B22 B11, what are you going to get? What are you going to get out of it? If I press Ctrl Shift Enter, obviously you will get here the scores. You will get the scores of Ajay. Okay, if I go and press F9, right, this is what you will get: 10, 20 and 100. This is the 10 and this is the 20 and this is the 100. Okay, and I'm going to write it here for you. Okay, this is the output. You are multiplying this is a step number two. But here we have a twist. We have a situation here, a different situation. I can simply go and write the sum function, but then that is going to be exactly the same, that is going to be the same question which we have written here, to find out the total score of Ajay. What is the difference between this and this? In this case, basically I was looking for the year greater than 2001. So in that case, what you need to do is you go and create the third array and you filter the items from here. And so what you do is you simply say that this cell, is it greater than 2001? So simple, right? If you find the true, then that is going to be multiplied with that number, which is obviously here coming as 10. And if it is 0, then 0 multiplied by 10 makes it 0, right? Isn't it? So basically the concept remains the same. It is just that this time what we are doing, we are multiplying, we are using three arrays. And I thought maybe you would be able to do it because it was just about the logic and nothing else. There was nothing new. So you go here in the third step, I go and write it here. Remember, I'm doing this step by step so that you can follow this. When you go and practice, you can write in this step. However, you can write everything in one cell also, obviously, once you have the mastery in the arrays. So now I go and create one more array. This is the array, you can see C2 to C11. Okay, but in the C2 to C11, what you want to do? You want to say what? You want to do you want to say that is it equals to 2001 or 2000 whatever? No, we want to say what? We want to say greater than 2001. So you go and write here the greater than 2001. Okay, this is how we're going to write the entire program. Okay, so finally we will have true and false coming out from here. True and false are already coming out from here. We have seen that these are the values. So finally true, true, true. So we are looking for that combination where I have the true value here, I have the true value here, and this number is going to be multiplied with true, true, with 1 and 1. So eventually we will have that number coming. In this case, this is true, this is 10, but this is 0 because 2001 is not greater than 2001. So eventually if you have a 1 false, basically you're multiplying 10 with 1 and then with 0. So 0, if you multiply with any number, you will get the answer as 0. And when I press Ctrl Shift Enter, you find here the first answer is 0 because this Ajay is okay, but the year 2001 is not okay. If I go and change this to 2003 just to see, the moment I change this to 2003, you guys can see that I got my answer as 10. Right, this is how it is. So I go and undo it now. So finally what we have done, if I go and press so what I can do is I can in the third step I can copy this output and maybe I can go and paste it here, and I go and say that let me go and press F9. So this is the output, and I go and remove the equals to sign from here. Okay, so these are the three arrays you have created, and these three arrays basically are going to be multiplied, and this true, the first element of the first array gets multiplied with the first element of second array, and then the first element of the third array. So 1 1 1, first, second, and third. This is how the all the multiplication will happen. And I told you in the beginning that if any of the array will have a size which is maybe larger or smaller than the any of the other arrays, you will get the error. So make sure when you go and do the selection, the number of the cells are to be same. Okay, so finally this is your third step. Basically this is actually a final step. I go and press F9, and this is the array. So you can see here I've got my 20 and 100, and this is my 20 and this is my 100, because here this is true, this is also true, you can see here. Okay, so this is the final output, and I go and just paste that here. So now I go and copy this, I go and do this in the next step here. So finally what we need is, we simply want to actually sum this, so I go and start writing the sum, and then I go close this and press enter. So finally you have the answer. See guys, the point is, when you look at the situation in the arrays, you know, when you start building the arrays, as I said last time also, basically we like to go and create the true and the false combinations. We like to see that if we can create the true false combinations by doing equals to sign, or by greater than sign, or maybe by something else, you never know. Okay, you will see as we move ahead what all things we can do with the arrays, different combinations. But the idea is to create these kind of logic. So arrays actually revolves around this true and the false combination. Okay, so this is where the creativity comes into action. This is where you have to be creative, right? So now this is how I have done it. So now you must know, must have learned one thing, that it's not just the two arrays, you can multiply three arrays also, you can multiply four arrays also, provided the logics are going correct. Okay, all right. So this was the first thing. This was the your you know, from here we have cleared our fundamentals. We know how to now write the true and the false and everything, and we also know how to multiply the arrays. Same way you can of course go and add the arrays. Now the next thing which I like to do is, we like to now go and first of all let me create a new file, and so this is going to be your the second file. Okay, you will be able to download all these files obviously. Now in this new lecture, we are going to do something very important, and with this formula I'm going to talk about the offset function, but I'm going to talk about the offset as an array, not a general offset function. Okay, so after learning the offset function, after learning the trick we are going to use in the offset, we will go and start doing some complex puzzles. We will start doing the some complex you know, the questions. Okay, and then you will find the reason that why you are here in this series. Okay, now offset basically is a function which is used for the movement of the cell. Okay, whether it is XLVB or it is just a Excel, offset is used a lot, and it is a very magical function. It is one of my favorite function actually. We will not anyways talk about the Excel VBA, the use of the offset there. So in Excel now, when you go and write the offset, you know, now, the first thing which I want to tell you is that students who do not know anything about the offset, first they need to understand that why the offset is used, and there are two optional parameters here, height and width. When you talk about the offset as an array, you have to go and use the height and the width. And when you go and use the offset without an array, which is of course not a topic we are going to do in this, then you go and use the reference and the row and the column. So in our exercise, in our lecture, we are going to use the height and the width. Okay, but before we go and use the height and the width, I want to tell you that what the row and the column and the height and the width means. Okay, though this was explained in my offset in the chart series. Many of you have joined me there, so you have done that. But still, let me just go and quickly, you know, do it for those who do not know anything about the offset. Now you see. Offset comes in, so one is your normal function, right? One is your normal offset, and second is your array offset. Okay, so in one offset we use Control Shift Enter, and in the second one we simply go and use the enter. So first of all, let me talk about the enter, the normal one. Now if you have written here something, okay, I'll give you the idea. If you have written here something, and suppose your cell is here, and you are asked to go and select, go and select this cell, for example this cell from here, okay, then using the offset, how you're going to do it? So when you go and start the offset, the first point comes as a reference. Now reference basically is a starting point. Now I said that your cursor is here, for example you are starting from here. Now when you're starting from here, guys, if you have to go to the 11, it actually asks you, it is asking you the row parameter. It means that how many rows you have to go down. Okay, now if I have to go down here, I have to stop here, how many rows I'm going to move? This is a 0 row. This A1 is always, the starting point always have a 0 row. Remember this point, many people get confused there. So the point from where I'm starting, that is going to be considered as on the 0th row. If this is 0, then this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4, and this is 5. So basically you are moving 5 cells down, isn't it? So when you move the 5 cells down, we need to tell the offset that how many columns we are moving. Now if I have to be on 11 and 33, they are on the same column, so you don't go and write here 1 or 2, you just simply go and write here 0, because the row and the column number of the starting point is always 0. So basically I'm saying that from A1 cell, from my reference A1, this is my reference, please move 5 rows down and be on the same column. So that means offset knows that it doesn't have to move right or left, it remains on the same column and it is going to move 5 rows down. This is 1 2 3 4 5, right? And I go and press enter, and that's how it is. Okay, this is how the offset is. This series, well, this is not, we are not here discussing about the offset, we are discussing here the offset as an array. What is the trick, how we are going to use the offset as an array, and eventually how we are going to use this in the coming sessions, in the coming, the kind of the complex situations which I will give you. So this is how you know that now you're on the last cell. Okay, this is how your the reference and the row and the column, these parameters, this is what they do. Reference means that starting point, or you can say cell, and row is that how many rows we need to move. Okay, if it is upward, you go and write minus. If it is downward, you go and just simply write the number. There's no need to add plus. And same way, how many columns you're going to move. Okay, if it is left to right, it is positive. If it is right to left, it is negative. I'll tell you, let me give you one more example. For example, in this I go and write some more numbers like this. Okay, now for example, we have a situation. I'm telling you that this is your starting point. Okay, from this, what you have to do, you have to go here using the offset. Okay, so what you will do, you write the offset, reference is this, and from here I have to go and pick the 555. Now if you want to go to the 555, you have to move upward. So how many rows you have to move up? 0, 1 and 2. But are you going to write here 2? No, you're going to write here -2, because you're going up. Okay, now once you are here, you don't need 33. You got to move to the opposite side. You have to move to the right side, which is not the actual movement. In Excel we move left to right, like we go and do we go and write on the paper. Most of the time we I mean, if we all are writing English, okay, I'm not sure about the other regional languages, but I think most of the languages are always written from left to right, isn't it? So the point is that if I have to go in this direction, this is going to be the reverse direction. Okay, so if I have to go and move from this cell to this column, because 555 is in the this column, which is column B. So from C, how many columns I'm jumping? Well, you're just jumping one column, but it is in the negative direction. So you go and write here -1, okay, and press enter, and you can see I got my answer, which is 555. Okay, now this is good. This is good as far as the, if you're going to use the offset as a normal function, if you want to just go and pick some value from, you know, some cell, and by giving us some other cell reference, but we are here to talk about the offset as an array. Now to create an array, I'll tell you what we are supposed to do. Let's come back to this exercise. Okay, now guys, if I have to create an offset and I have to create a table which gives me what, which gives me 33, 44, 55, 22, 33 and 11, how I can go and create that table? Okay, this is what we are going to understand. So we go and say that offset, I want a table. Basically I want a table which gives me 33, 44, 55, 22, 33 and 11. Okay, so I start from here, and since I want to start from 33, my row number and the column numbers are going to be 0. Okay, because if I start from this, let me go and press enter, show you. Let us first of all make ourselves comfortable that we are on the correct cell. Now from the 33, what I want to do, I come back on this cell and I'm going to now use the height parameter. Height parameter means number of rows you need. Remember the number of rows you need from the point where right now you are located. We are located over here. Now from here I want to basically go and select this entire table. So how many rows I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So in the height I go and use 6. One thing, height and the width always starts with 1, unlike row and the column. Row and column starts with 0, but height and width always starts with 1. So if you have to count 6 rows, you don't write here 5. Remember that point, very important. I have to write here 6 rows. How many columns? Well, this is just a 1 column. Okay, so you go and write here 1. Now what I do is I'm going to press Ctrl Shift Enter. The moment I press Ctrl Shift Enter and I go and show you F9, you see that the table is created. Can you see that the table is showing up? Okay, let me press escape. So the point is, this height and the width, what it does, it allows you to create a table, and in the arrays, tables plays a very important role. I'll just show you. So the height is basically the number of the rows you want in your table. Okay, and this always starts with 1. And here you have the number of columns, and this always starts with 1. Okay, this is how it is. Now the second question comes that if I have to create this offset, you know, this complex offset, just to get the table which eventually is going to, you know, look like this. Let me go and press F9, this table. Then why do I need to create this offset? You know, because table can be created simply by selecting this entire table like this and Control Shift Enter. This we have learned in our previous lecture, isn't it? This is the same output. So what is the use of the offset? You know, why we want to go and create this sort of table using this offset function? So we have now going to we have to see now the real, actually the use of the offset in the arrays. Now what I've told you, please remember this is not a part of arrays. This I have just explained you so that you should be in touch, you should be in good touch with the upcoming examples. If you're not aware of the offset, you must go and first learn this. Okay, my motive here to use the offset is basically to tell you that how you can use this in the arrays, and to use this in array, this is what I'm going to tell you now. Now see this. So I'm going to write here the offset. Now let us go to the next the sheet. I copy this for your benefit. Okay, now see, in the arrays most of the time we have to go and create the sequence like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, after this I'll tell you, but first of all you understand this, the art of making 1 2 and 3 4 using the offset. For example, now what I'm supposed to do is, I have a cell, I have here some number. Okay, I go and write here, let's say Michigan. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to split Michigan. I want to split like this. I want to say M comma I comma C comma H. Now in Excel, without the arrays, I don't think so this is going to be so easy for you, and perhaps you will go towards the VBA to make this sort of function. Okay, but I want to split it, right? To split this, what we need to do is we have to go and create a combination of 1 2 3 4 5 6, depending upon how many, what is the total, basically the length of this. What I mean is that if I have to extract, if I have to separate Michigan, I should know how many characters I have got here. Okay, so in order to achieve this, what I do is I put the length function here, and length is a function which returns the total number of characters. Now see this important point. I go and use the offset here. Okay, I say that my reference has to be, for example, this N1. I'm picking any cell. You can pick O1, M1, L1, but it has to be the first cell. Okay, not necessarily it has to be a blank cell. You can pick any of the cell, maybe A1 also. Okay, so why it has to be the first cell, I'll tell you. Now what we are supposed to do now, from here, from this very cell N1, I want to go and create a table which should give me 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Why 1 2 3 4 6 5 7 8? Because Michigan has 8 number of characters. Okay, so in order to get that, what I do is, if I have to start from the row number 1, then I have to write here 0 comma 0, because that way my cursor will start from N1, because I'm saying that from the N1 you do not have to move any row and you do not have to move any column, so your cursor will remain here, and in the next step you just go and tell that what is the height. So from here, how many rows you have to go down, this height parameter. Okay, you can go and use here the length function also directly. The number of characters I have got in this text, in this J1. Okay, but the other way of doing it is that, to make the things look simple, I go and select the K1, not just directly I'm going to use the function. Later you can use it. I say that whatever the value I have got here, that has to be my height, and this value, it is actually returning the number of the characters, right? So the next thing which I do is I put the width here. Now width always is going to be 1, because I want the column should have only one. This array, this table which you are going to create, this always holds a single column. Okay, now I go and press Ctrl Shift Enter. Now when you press Ctrl and Shift Enter, what is the result you're going to get? You're going to get this result. Let me go and press F9. You will get here 0 0 0 0. How many zeros you have got here? If I paste the output here, you can see here, basically you got here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 8 zeros. Now why the 8 zeros are coming? Because you said that you want to start from M and you want to go down 8 rows down. So this is your 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. All the cells are blank. That is why you're not getting here any answer. The moment I write here something called, let's say 33, and I go and write here 44 and so on, all these values, suppose I go and write all this, okay, this one. Now if I go back here, I beg your pardon, it's not M actually. We are starting from N, from here, and that is the reason I was wondering that why it is not showing me 33. So anyways, I cut this from here and I put it here. Okay, so the moment I put this here, what I have to do, I have to go and because I should have copy and pasted it instead of cut and paste. Anyways, let me go and paste this, but it still show me the error. Somehow the formula is getting removed, so no problem. You can see here the reference is coming. I go and select this again, not an issue, and I go and select Control Shift Enter. Look at this. Finally you got the array, and that array is going to hold, you know, 33, 44, 22, 42. So you're getting the point. So this 0 is coming because 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8. The 8th cell, if you start from 33, is empty, and that is why you are seeing here 0. Okay, anyways, we don't need this. I go and delete this. Okay, I go and delete this. I don't need all the numbers. I just wanted to show you why the 000 is coming, because the cell is empty. Now in order to convert this, now finally you have created a table where you have this 0, this 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, right? Now the next thing, if I have to convert this into 1 2 3 4 5, what is the next thing I like to do? Well, the next thing I like to do here is that I like to use a row function. I like to find out the row number of each of these numbers. For example, what happens guys when you go in the use the row function? If you say that you want to calculate the row of n1, what will you get? You will get 1, right? Because the row of n1 is 1, and row is a function we have used so many times, right? So when you go and drag this, row n1 will change to row n2, n3, n4, and so on. And eventually you will end up having a sequence which is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? Now this is exactly what we need in my array. So what I do is I know the output of this table. This is 0 0 0 0 0 0, you know. So I simply go and say I want to find out your row number. So this is where I go and press Control Shift Enter, and this is where then you start getting here what? You start getting here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. This is how it is. Okay, so what I do is I do all this in the next step, uh, so that you can see everything step by step. So first I go and paste the formula here, and here I don't want to go and use the row. This is 0 0 0. Okay, so finally the row function is working. So now you see that not only the offset, but we can also go and use the row function in the array. And this is something I told you when we started the array series, that it is not just about the sum or you know, the max or the min function. You can use many functions here. Now the next obvious question comes in our mind is that why the heck I'm even creating this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8? I mean, what is the purpose of it? Okay, well, you just need to hold on for just maybe a few minutes, and I'll tell you actually the use of this. This is very important. But why I've created this, because you know, I want the basis the number of the characters here, I like to go and split them, and to split them I'm going to use the mid function. Okay, and in the mid, if you guys know, we have the starting point, and this starting point is going to be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. And similarly, you know, with the help of this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, I will be able to reach out to MICHIGAN. So this is the idea. But the important point is why I'm using length. Why I simply can't go and, you know, instead of this the height k1, why I can't simply go and write here 8. Well, if you go and write 8, it's one and the same thing. Okay, it is not going to change the answer. But the point is, the next time if you go and write something here which has less or maybe more spellings, you know, than Michigan, then you will have to change the formula every time, which I do not want to do it. I want to keep the formula dynamic. For example, if I go and write here, let's say I go and write here Delhi. Okay, the moment I press enter, what will happen? You find here 5. Now if you are going to pass, the 5 in the height, because k1 now is holding 5, so you are starting from n and you are writing the row and the column. That means you're telling that there has to be no movement. I want to start from n1 only, and from the n1 I want to go 5 rows down on the same column. So basically 1 2 3 4 5, your array will be created which is going to hold 1 2 3 4 5. You can see here 1 2 3 4 5. So if I have Delhi and if I have to separate each of the characters from Delhi, I basically have to create 5, you know, the positions. Okay, in simple words. So this is the reason I'm creating here this function, the length function, so that I don't have to change the formula manually again and again depending upon the what value I have got here. Okay, so I put it back as Michigan, right? Now, another thing, obviously, as I said, that you can directly also go and use the length function inside this. You can say length len, start the bracket, and pick up this j1, close the bracket, and press Ctrl Shift Enter. So finally we are able to convert this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 is a very useful technique. Okay, I'll tell you now. See, now I have to go, and as I said that I have to go, I'm going to write here another number. For example, I go and write here state. Okay, I want to separate this state as s, then comma t, and then a and t, and then e. Okay, so how I can do that? Well, why you want to separate this? This is a different thing. This we should not be worried about that thing. We are just trying to understand the fundamentals, because when you work with the arrays, you should be knowing how to multiply the arrays. You should be knowing how to convert the the result into true and the false. You should be able to add or subtract the multiple arrays, the which are coming in the form of true and false. At the same time, you should be able to create these 1 2 3 4 5 the sequences, and at the same time you should be able to split the any of the text, because in arrays most of the time when we have a complex things to do, these are the techniques which comes very handy. And I'm going to tell you some real examples, but first of all, let us go and just understand how we can go and split this entire text into each of the characters, okay, which are a part of this value. So the first thing I want to do is, now if you, let's say, do not know the arrays, then perhaps this is what you do. Let's say you are not even a programmer. So what you do, you use the mid function, right? We covered this mid function. What you do, you say I want to go in this text and my start number has to be 1 and the number of characters I need is 1 because I want only s. Then you guys go here in the another cell, and this time you again go in the same text, but the start number is now going to be 2 because I want t, and the number of characters I want is again 1. Okay, I hope all of you remember this mid function, right? So this is now going to be 3 because I want to start from third position and I want to return 1 character. Now this entire process you keep on running and you keep on getting here STA and then T and E, right? Overall, if you look at this, what is happening, if I go and remove the E equals to sign, I select this entire range and I say that I want to replace E equals to sign with nothing. Now if you look at your formula carefully, let me go and show you the formula. This is your formula and this is your formula, and then this is the another formula, right? E11 remains the same, only the start position is changing. First we have first and then 2 and then 3, and the number of characters also remains same, because if you have to segregate, if you have to separate each of the character, the number of characters to be returned is always going to be 1. So how to handle this 1 2 and 3, and this is why we have learned this 1 2 3, the system. So this is what we are going to do now using the offset. I'm going to split them. Otherwise, it is not possible using the Excel formulas. Okay. So the first step we want to do here is that we will go and use the mid function. In the mid function, E11 and the last parameter, which is the how many characters we want in return, that is going to remain unchanged. Okay, if you do not know the mid function, obviously you will not understand this. So first of all, you should go and practice on the mid function. I'm telling you here, this is the text. Where is my text? What is the starting point from where you want to start? And if you start from something, let's say I want to start from s, how many characters do you want? If you say I want 2 characters, then you will get st. If you say I want 1 character, then you will get only 1, which is s. Okay, so the start number of this mid parameter, this 1 and 2 and 3, this is going to be replaced by this offset function. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all write the offset function. The step 1 is what? The step 1, we like to go and create the offset. So you quickly go and create the offset. pick up any reference, let's say M1. Now you again, before you go and ask me that why I'm always picking the first cell, well, the reason is very simple, because if you go and pick up, let's say M2, then what will happen if you go and pick up the offset as M2 and you go and say that, for example, 0 comma 0, because you want to start from M2, and let's say I want to go and create 8 rows. Okay, or maybe this time we want to go and create how many rows, depends what value I have here. So I'm going to use the length function in the height parameter of this offset function. Length returns me what, 5. So that means from the M2 you're going to actually, add 5 rows. So if you go and add the 5 rows from M2, keeping your width as 1, what will happen when you press Ctrl Shift Enter? Look at this. Now what I'm going to do is, if I go and use the row function here, because I want the row, because row is finally going to convert this 0 0 0 into 1 2 3 4. The moment I press Ctrl Shift Enter, the problem here is that it starts with 2 2 3 4 5 6, because the logic is very simple. If you're going to start from here, if you're going to put this as your reference point, basically you are saying that I want the row number of this cell. I do not want to start from 2. I want to start from first, right? Because I want to separate them, and to separate them I first want to target S, and the S is on the position number 1. That is why most of the time you always go and pick the first cell. So I'm going to pick first cell, M1, A1, whatever you want to pick, that does not matter, because ideally the row number of A1, the row number of B1, the row number of I1, the row number of M1, it is going to be same, and same for the A2, B2, C2, so that's why you can pick any of the cell. Once I picked this cell called M1 and I say that I want to start from the very first cell, which is M1, that's why I'm keeping this 0 and 0, the row in the column, because I do not want to move down. So once I have decided that from where I want to start, which is this cell, okay, because of no movement, finally I'm calculating how many rows I have to move, and then you go and calculate it using the length function, or you can use the length here and then you can refer it to it, but I'm going to use the length inside this function. Okay, now the next thing is I press Ctrl Shift Enter. You can see that finally I'm able to generate the row number of all those blank cells, and this is how I'm able to get 1 2 3 4 5, and in the state also I have 5 characters. So this is the first step I like to do here. So what we did is here is that we created an array. We created, or you can say we created the row numbers, okay, or you can say we created basically the positions to be used in splitting each of the character coming in the cell called E11. Okay, this is the first step we are doing here, right? Okay, what is the next thing I want to do? Well, I can go and write this entire thing here, but let's go step by step. So what I do is, in the step 1 you saw what we have done. Okay, now the next thing which I want to do is the next thing I simply want to go and copy this entire output, or maybe for the time being, yeah, let me just copy this. Now you see you have to split this state, and by the way, let me give it a color also. Okay, just make it bold. Now the next thing which I want to do is the next thing I want to go and use the mid function. Okay, now why you want to use the mid function? Well, you want to use the mid function here because you want to split now the cells. So in the step 2, what you do, you say that this is my text, isn't it? Now in this text, what is the starting point? Well, there are so many starting points. Now put this 1 2 3 4 5 like we were using it here. This time we have to put everything in a single cell. So basically I'm saying that you go and say 1 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6, depending how many characters we have. We have 5, so I'll keep this to 5. But this is not how you will go and write the formula. So you need a formula which can give you this result, and this is the same result we got it from the offset. Okay, so what I do is I simply go and Control V, and this is now now entire formula you're going to write it here. Now you are just actually witnessing the power of the arrays. Now who could actually think that you would go and write the formula in this way as well? You're using four formulas and we have just begun, guys. Okay, mid, row, offset and the length function. Now you have to be very careful when you go and practice with these things because you have to go step by step. Now I already tested this row offset m1 and I know that it is going to give me 1 2 3 4 5, and I'm going to use that in the start number parameter. Once I'm done with this, I press comma and I go in the number of the characters, which is going to be 1. So basically what happens, you know that how the arrays works, right? They can take the multiple cells values into calculation and can give you one result in a single cell. Okay, now the same way this row function is going to give you 1 2 3 4 5. So that is going to be acted as a start number for the mid. So the first one is going to be executed as a start number, then 2 is going to be executed. So you will have the different results. The moment I press Control Shift Enter, you see that I'm able to see the first character. This is so powerful. Can you see that? If I go and press here F9, see what is going to happen. You find here S, T, A, T, E and all are separated. This is what we needed it. Right now it is not giving us any result because why would I like to go and split this? But this technique is something which we are going to use in the coming sessions. Okay, so that is why I'm trying to make you ready for that. So you can now even split the text also. If someone asks you that can you split this in a single cell, perhaps if you do not know arrays you will not be able to. You may go and try this mid function, but again that is going to be a very lengthy process because you have to write here 5 different mids. But here what you're doing, you're simply writing one mid, and in that mid what you're doing, this raw offset which we are using in the start parameter, that from where to start. So if I go and select this function and I show you that what it is going to do, if you remember, I go and press F9. You see that basically this is what you're getting. You're getting here 1 2 3 4 5. So how the offset is going to work for your practice, I can also copy this. How the offset, how this the entire function which is your array function is going to work. First you go in the E11, it will go and pick the first, the one, okay, because all the numbers are not going to be picked in one go. This is the starting point. If the starting point is 1, it cannot be 2. If it is 2, it cannot be 3. Okay, so this is going to work like a loop. First I'm going to go and start with 1, and then how many characters I need? I just need 1. So in the mid, if you go and start from first character, which is S, and in return you're asking that it should return only one character, obviously you will get S. Same way again in the E11, you start from second character, second position, which is T, and how many characters then you want back? You just want what? You just want only 1, which you have written here. So this is how each time it is running, the position is changing, it goes in the A and it returns you the one character. Okay, and that's how you're able to find out, you're able to split this STATE. Now for the moment, tell me one thing. If I go and put the number of characters here as 2, who will tell me what is going to happen if I go and press enter? Who will tell me? Yes, very nice. You will get ST, TA, AT and TE. Okay, you want to see? Control Shift Enter. You can see that the first is ST because now you are saying that if I start from the first position, I want 2 characters. So ST will come. Then you are saying that go and start from the second position, which is this position. Then you're saying I want the 2 characters. So that's how when you go and press F9, this is how the answer would come. Oh, obviously the last one is E because after E there is no other character left. Okay, if I go and put after E something called, let's say maybe F, you would find here the F. Okay, so anyways, let me just completely go and undo this. This is how the formula looks like. Okay, and this is the output. I want to paste it here for your reference. Okay, so this is how it is. So now you understand the reason why we use the offset function over here. Okay, I have to go and write this again. So what I can do is I can because I think I will not be able to do this, undo it. No problem, I just go and write it again. Now when you have a good amount of practice, you can even you don't have to write anything step by step. You can simply start from here because you know how the things work. So you go and say offset and go and pick up this, let's say the first cell, which is M1 0, 0, and then in the height you go and write the length function, which is going to calculate the total number of characters, and finally that will be converted into a number which is 5. And 5 means then you will have basically the 5 zeros coming because you are using this in the height. So you are telling that from the M1, if I start, I need 5 rows, and 5 rows, all of these rows are going to give you 0 0 0 0, and finally that 0 0 0 will be converted into a row by using the row function. This is how it is. Okay, you can use any cell, maybe blank cell, non-blank cell. Ultimately the row will return only 1 2 3 4 5, so it doesn't matter if you have a 0 0 here or you have some value, because once the row function starts, row actually returns the row only. It doesn't matter whether the cell is empty or it has a value. The value or the value inside it, this particular part loses its significance. You just need to find out the row number. Okay, so this is how it is. I close this and I press Ctrl Shift Enter. Now I think I'm not able to close this function properly. Let me go and check that. So finally we have got the height. You can see I missed the width parameter. I press comma and I'm going to write here 1. So finally this is my offset function with the row, and this is going to give me this sequence called 1 2 3 4 5. I press Ctrl Shift Enter. Again I have some problem here. Let's go and check that what is the issue. So when I click here, you see that nothing is highlighted. This one must be a parameter of mid. I think I have to go and remove the bracket. Okay, so when I click here now, again I don't see this is coming. So what we can do is I go and close this, and once I close this, I go and press the comma. I should be able to see the mid parameter, which is not coming. I mean, how many characters do I want? So let's go and start this quickly again. This is my start number. The offset is here. The length function is here. And length is closed properly. Offset is closed properly. And so once the offset is closed, you have to close the row function also. So I think one more bracket is required. And look at this. The moment I closed it, I can see now the mid parameter. So that is why, guys, we are discussing the arrays in the very last moment, because you really have to be a star in the Excel to understand this. You really need to know each and everything about the formula. You need to understand, you need to be very good in closing and the opening the brackets, and if you get stuck somewhere, you should be able to find out the reason that which formula is not properly closed, or maybe any parameter you have missed. That can happen only if you already an advanced Excel user. Otherwise this is going to be very tough. Okay, so I go and say that the last parameter, how many characters I need. So basically we have provided all the parameters. Mid has got all the 3 parameters. This is the text function, this is the start number mid has got, and this is the number of characters. Make sure we should not skip any of the parameter. And same way, if you go inside the offset, this is the offset reference, this is the offset row, this is offset column. You can see the parameter which is getting bold, and this is the height, and this is the width. Finally I should be able to close this, and the moment I do that, what happens, I'm able to close the formula. But the point is, now when I close this formula, I'm not able to see the answer. Now why I'm not able to see the answer, this is very interesting. We have to see now what is happening here, because I don't see the formula, the result coming here. Okay, it shows me the blank. So what is wrong with this? Let us go and check that. So I go and press F9. I'm not going to edit the video. This is how we will learn. Now somehow it is splitting, everything it is splitting, and it's actually coming space space space. So how many times it has created this different partitions, 1 2 3 4 5, and that's coming obviously because state has 5 characters. But what is wrong with this? This is something we need to understand now, because this is not how we are going to get the benefit from here. Now I think the problem is this. I just found when I go and press F2, basically I'm not picking the correct cell. I'm picking the E1. E1 is already blank. maybe it's a typo mistake or what happened, I don't know, but it should be actually E11, right? Because this is what we want to split, isn't it? So mid should go in the state in the E11, not in the E1. So I go and press enter, and finally we have been able to get the answer. Okay, so this is how we have been able to split this STATE. Now what you can do is you can take the help of this Excel file and you can start, practicing on this, and you can go and split all these things. Now for example, so if I go and write here, let's say Jan, and I write here Feb, or maybe I go and write here March, and then let's say I go and write Delhi, and I go and write here USA, a kingdom. Now what if you want to split all these things one by one? What will you do if you have to write a single formula? Well, the first thing is I go and check that the array which I want, because I have to use the mid function. See, I have to use the mid function. To use the mid function, I go and write mid, and I go in this text. Now I want to split J, N, A, and N, and so on, F, and then E, and then B. Right now we are targeting this. So what is the start number? Well, start number has to be 1, and then 2 and 3, one by one. Every time the start number has to be changed. So you need an array which can give you 1 2 3 4 5, or whatever, 1 2 3 in this case. So you just go and say offset. First I go and start with the offset, or maybe if you have a more practice, you can start with the row function and then start writing the offset. What I do is I first go and write offset. I'm going to pick up any cell. Maybe let's say I go and pick up this time again, this, let's say the L1. From the L1 0 comma 0, we are going to start from the first row, and the height. So to get the height, what I want is I want to calculate how many characters I have, because basis my Jan, basis this result, the length, I will be able to create the number of rows, and eventually that number of rows will be converted into 1 2 3 4 5 6 and so on the series. Okay, so this is how the offset is written. I close this. Now this offset is going to return me what? If you go and press F9 right now, this is what it is going to tell you. See this, it is going to give you 0 0 0, 3 zeros, because you are starting from, let me undo this, you're starting from actually L1, and in the L1 all the cells are blank, and we get here 3 zeros because you said the height has to be 3, because length is calculating the total number of characters. But I do not want 000, I want their row number, which is in the L1, and then L2, and then the L3. Okay, so to achieve that, this is where we go and use the row function. I'm again explaining you because it takes little time for this. So close the bracket. Finally, let's go and press comma. How many characters do you need? I just need one character. Okay, because after it starts with something, let's say the first position J, it should return one character. The next time it starts with A, it again should return the one character, and so on. Control Shift Enter, and we can go and press F9, and there we go. You can see here I got my output, which is J, N, A, and N. Okay, now the thing is, if this is what is working for Jan, if I go and drag this formula, is it going to work for the Feb? Can we go and check that? Who will tell me? Is it going to work for the January? Sorry, for the February. Why it is going to work? Can you pay attention here? Can you see this entire thing? Let me show you. Okay, so people who say that it is going to work, I want to tell them that look at this. It doesn't start with F. Okay, the formula is not giving the error, but is it giving you the correct value? Why it's giving you E, B, and then space, and where is your F? If I further go down, why it is giving you R, and if you go and press F9, why it is giving you C and H and the space, it should give you M, A, R, C, H. I just told you the reason. Come on, think on it. Tell me guys, why it is happening? Why it is starting from here, E, second position, and then from in this March it is starting from the third position, and if you move down, I think it is going to start from the fourth position, which is H. What is the problem? Look at the formula. Yes, very nice. Yes, absolutely. So What now? He understood this. Everybody pay attention. You see, arrays works the same way as I said that, any other normal formula. It's just that their technique is a little different. They work on the true false combinations, and also they can work on the multiple cells, but concept remains the same. When you go and drag this formula, E17 will change to E18. Do you need the E18? Yes, we need the 18, so fine. Do you need L1 change to L2? You never want it, because if L1 changes to L2, then your row number, the combination, instead of 1 2 3, it will be 2 3 4, and the mid will start from the second character. Then we do not want to do that. Every time when we go and drag this, every time we want to start from the first character of the first of this value, and then second, and then third, and so on, so that's why what you have to do, you have to go and freeze the L1. So please go and put the dollars here. Okay, I go and press F4. What about the LE17? This definitely we want to change it, guys. This E17 should be, E18 and then E19 and so on, because the number of characters I have here, the same number of characters I want to split, the same number of rows I need, which the offset function is going to create by, taking the help of the length parameter, which we are using in the height. It's telling you the height, then how many rows you needed. The number of rows I needed, the number of zeros I needed, depends how many characters I have here. Okay, so I think rest everything we leave it as it is. They keep on changing, and so I'm going to drag this. So I go and drag this. So the arrays also, they work on dragging. You don't have to go and write arrays in every cell. If you go and press Control Shift Enter and you go and drag it, it will work. Control Shift Enter will be written in all the cells you can see here. Okay, finally I think, guys, we have got F, M, D, U, K, and if you want to check, I'm confident that we will have the correct output, but still you can see you have been able to separate them, F, E, and B, and then if I go here and I say that I want to separate this M, F9, you see that everything is coming. So when you go and practice on this file, this is what you can do. You can keep on pressing F9. First you build your own thing, and then let me know if you have any questions. I will help you out. Okay, so these are all the techniques, the major things. It's a kind of the platform we are trying to make the foundation very strong for the upcoming the lectures, because in the upcoming lectures when we are going to do a lot of big tasks, there we definitely need to know how to multiply the arrays, add the arrays, how to convert true false combinations, how we can convert, which formula we can use, and we can convert that the array into true and false, and same way how we can go and create the series called 1 2 3 4 5, and we can use it in splitting or maybe in some other job, you never know, right? So that's it for now. Let us go step by step. Okay, I do not want to confuse you. You make yourself comfortable first of all with whatever we have covered so far, and if you have any problem you can go and ask me. Thank you so much. Bye bye.